We are Southeastern 16. I'm Chase Robinson talking some SEC football today. And I want to talk about some reasons why we should be optimistic about Florida Gators football heading into 2025. Now, we've just wrapped up the 2024 season, but hey, we're looking ahead as we head into the offseason. Now, a lot can happen between now, as we record this mid-January, and the season kicks off late August, early September. A lot can happen. I know that. But I think there are some big picture reasons to be optimistic about the Florida Gators, especially the way they finished the 2024 season. I'll be the first to tell you, going into 24, I thought that this was going to be kind of I took the doom and gloom approach to Florida football. I didn't think that they would be able to survive the schedule. I wasn't sure if all the pieces on this team could fit together and work together to do what they needed to do. Now, they proved me wrong, and I'm glad they proved me wrong. I mean, they finished with a winning record. They got the 33-8 win over Tulane in the bowl game, which going into the season, I'll be honest, I didn't think Florida was even going to get to a bowl game. I thought we were going to be talking about Billy Napier finding a new job. Like I took the doom and gloom approach, and I'll be the first one to tell you. But again, they proved me wrong, and I was glad to see that from the Florida Gators this year. And so, looking again at this season and going into the offseason, I think the first reason that we can be optimistic about Florida heading into the 2025 season is the momentum they had to finish the season. There was a lot of momentum for the Florida Gators. I mean, you look at their last 3 games of the regular season, a nice win over LSU, who was number 22 in the country at that time. A nice win over the number 9 team in the country, a team who was trying to win themselves into the college football playoff. That was Ole Miss, and that was a 24-17 win for the Gators on their home field against Ole Miss. And then they won 31-11 on the road at Florida State, who we know the Seminoles had a struggling season this year. But the fact that they finished with those 3 wins, because we went into the looking at their schedule thinking, okay, they've got number 2 Georgia, number 5 Texas, number 22 LSU, number 9 Ole Miss as for their last 5 games. They lost to Georgia, they lost to Texas. Obviously, those 2 teams, playoff teams, very good. But then, and they led Georgia. They led Georgia at halftime. And that's the game. They had some injuries, did Florida, and ended up losing that game. But to beat LSU, to beat Ole Miss, to beat Florida State, and then to beat Tulane in a bowl game the way they did, that's a lot of momentum heading into the offseason with this program. And I think we'll see players buy in even more than they were already based off the momentum and getting that 7-5 record, getting that bowl win. Again, with a lot of people kind of wrote Florida off of even getting to a bowl game, especially preseason and early on in the season. So with the momentum they finished the season, I think that's a big reason for optimism heading into 2025. Another reason is their quarterback, DJ Lagway, and the way he really put this team on his shoulders at the end of the season. He knew he was the guy. He had to step up and be the guy. Graham Mertz struggled with injury here and there. We saw DJ Lagway. Then Graham Mertz came back, and then he suffered that season-ending injury. And so Lagway had to step up, and he stepped up and was a great leader for the Gators. He finished the season 1,915 yards, 12 touchdowns. He did have 9 interceptions, which I think that's something that he's going to be working on in the offseason to clean his game up. And I think we're talking about, you think back to turnovers is going to be a big focus. You take away some of these turnovers, things could look different, but I think as a young quarterback he is, that's part of it. He's got to learn from the reps that he had and the games that he played in. And I think we'll see a improved DJ Lagway going into next season. And so having a guy like that as your quarterback in the SEC is a dual threat guy is going to work definitely in your favor. I mean, he's a good dual threat quarterback. And so to have him as not only as your quarterback, but as a leader, I mean, you could tell he is a leader the way he was able to lead the guys there towards the end of the season. This season shows he's a tremendous leader. Third reason I think is a reason for optimism for Florida football in 2025 is recruiting. I mean, that's the name of the game, and that is really what got Florida behind the eight ball, if you will, prior to Billy Napier. Recruiting just wasn't going well under Nan Mullen at Florida. And so one of the reasons they brought Billy Napier in is because he had proven himself to be a good recruiter, and he is proving himself that now at Florida. They've got according to the multiple services who track recruiting, they had a top 10 recruiting class here on early signing day, and I expect them to keep recruiting well. Again, you can base a lot of that off of momentum from the season. People want to come play football at Florida. They want to play for Billy Napier, and he's doing a great job recruiting. That's something you have to do as an SEC head coach, and that's something he's been able to do. And I think because he's getting solid recruits, it's going to turn into wins for the Florida Gators. Billy Napier, a great recruiter, and he's proving that. Another top 10 class for the Gators. And so that's another reason to be optimistic for Florida football heading into 2025. And really, when you look at the schedule for next year, it's just about the same as this year, except flopped as far as the conference games go. They will get Mississippi State at home. They'll get Tennessee at home. They'll get Texas at home, and Florida State at home. And so you think back to that Tennessee game, and I feel like that was a game that Florida had so many chances to win there on the road at Tennessee. They'll get the Vols at home this year. And you think back to some of these other games where it was close. They had their opportunities to win and just couldn't finish it out. But hey, they were able to towards the end of the season to get that momentum. But I think there's some big reasons and more than the ones I just shared with you that we can be optimistic about what Billy Napier is doing at Florida. And I think he's got the program going in a good direction. He's got to build on it. They've got to win games this year or this coming season in 2025 based off what we saw in 24. But they exceeded expectations most definitely in 2024 for myself and a lot of folks who talk about SEC football who just kind of wrote Florida off a little bit. We're having a different conversation on Florida football right now based off what they did at the end of the season. I'm excited to see what they can do. And, of course, we'll be here to cover it on Southeastern 16 as we do with all of the SEC football programs. We'll have you covered with Billy Napier and the Gators and the other 15 SEC schools as well. So subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and spread the word about Southeastern 16 as we deliver you the best SEC content, not only for football, but basketball and baseball as well. Basketball season in full force. Baseball season is right around the corner as well. So subscribe to our channel, and we are Southeastern 16, bringing you the best SEC content. I'm Chase Robinson with Southeastern 16.